Hello out there, you're welcome to the newspaper review here on TAV TV. And thank God it's Friday, just like the Gen Zs who always say. Like you know, here in our newspaper review, we hit to the streets like we always do Monday to Friday to hear the reactions of Nigerians in regard to the headlines that are making rounds on our newspaper. Don't forget, you also can be part of the show. Do well to follow us up on all our social media handles, both on Twitter and YouTube, so that you keep updated each time we drop videos like this. All right, before we hit to the streets, let's first look into the headlines and see what the headline has for us today. Right, first on the list, we're considering the Punch. And today being the 14th day of June 2024, on the front page of the Punch, we have Dangote Refinery plans 5.3 billion naira liters fuel storage. Details of that is found on page 33. Federal government eyes fresh 5 million World Bank loan for rural roads. Details of that is found on page 34. Local government, state court reverse judgment as state battles AGF. You can read that up on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. NNPC withdraws suit against ExxonMobil, splat 1.28 billion deal. Details of that is found on page 34. Suspected self-kidnapper, 8 others arrested in Delta. Details of that is found on page 5. This is quite a funny one. We have gotten to a state where we are now kidnapping ourselves. God have mercy on Nigerians. All right, you can read that up on page 5. And still on page 5, we have 3 more victims rescued from Anambra collapsed building as probes begins. Details of that is found on page 5. 62,000 minimum wage. Labour faults politicians jumbo pay. National Assembly gets bill after Salah. You can read that up on page 2. Right, moving on, we are considering the leadership, and on the front page of the leadership we are seeing minimum wage. Labour faults Tinubu's speech, insists on 250,000. Details of that is found on page 4. Democracy Day, state observe low-key celebration. It is quite true. You can read that up on page 7 of the leadership. Court rules on Kanu Emirate, tussles today. Details of that is found on page 23. No political will end banditry, says Zamfara governor. You can read that up on page 7 of the leadership. All right, now moving on page 6, we are seeing Permanent Secretary denies alleged sex harassment of female staff. Details of that is found on page 6. 80 die in DR Congo boat misship. Details of that is found on page 6. Presidency waves off Tinubu's slip, says he's human, obviously. All right, lastly for today, we're considering the Nation. And on the front page of the Nation, we have limited headlines. All right, on the front page of the Nation, we're seeing World Bank okays with $2.2 billion support package for Tinubu's reforms. You can read that up on the front page of the Nation newspaper. 774 councils cannot afford to pay 62,000 wage, says chairman. This is still in regard to the minimum wage as proposed by the federal government to pay 62,000 against 250,000 as proposed by Labour. You can read that up on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Clark 6 more federal presence in Southeast. Kanu release. Details of that is found on page 8. 4 die in Enugu Onitsha highway accident. That's a sad one. Details of that is found on page 5. All right, like I said earlier, we have limited headlines on the Punch newspaper. Now let's head straight to the streets of Port Harcourt and hear the reactions of Nigerians in regards to these headlines. Do well to stay tuned. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here. Now, I like your thoughts on the leadership that says minimum wage. Labour faults Tinubu's speech, insists on 250,000. Now, the NLC are still adamant about their minimum wage. What's your take on that?
Yes, my view is that what Labour is asking for should be given to them. The reason is that these are people who are spending years to serve the government and the various institutions. And those who are even staying in the political offices like a National Assembly, State Assembly, Governors, President, and all the rest, stay for a maximum of 8 years. And they go away with millions and billions of naira for these few years of aid. Meanwhile, the people who spend 30 years and above, if they pay them even 300,000, it's not bad.
Obviously.
So 250,000 naira they are asking for is worth paying. I'm of the view that they should pay them the money, because all of us go into the same market and buy things, and nobody's a slave. All of us are Nigerians. So that's my take in this issue.
Most state governors are saying they cannot afford to pay even the 62,000 that the federal government are proposing.
Now they can pay if they are sincere and patriotic. The reason is just that these political office holders, governors, local government chairmen, are not there for the people's welfare. That's the truth about it. So them are eager to embezzle money. They are looking for surplus money that they will put into their personal pocket. So that at the end of the day, when they have left their office, they amass wealth here and there, and they can boast of 100 billion naira to the detriment of the masses. So if they say they cannot pay, they are telling lies. The thing is just that they don't want to be their brother's keeper. If they love the masses, they want to be sincere. If they want to be sincere and to be their brother's keeper, they can pay even more than 250,000. So that's the truth about the whole thing.
All right. Lastly, we just celebrated 25 years of democracy. Do you think we have actually played out the democratic role as a nation?
In fact, I may say that our rulers over the past 25 years have not done well. This is even the worst set of rulers. The things in the market now are too expensive. There are some families today that cannot even feed 2 times a day, which means things are even getting worse. So the dividend of democracy is not well realized. It's not being displayed at all. Imagine where people cannot feed. Tell me, what again are we celebrating for? I mean, that celebration is, in fact, not very much proper, because this government has made people to be more impoverished. You can imagine somebody go to market to buy something, you buy something that is not going to suffice a family for a day. Then you start looking for where to go and source for survival material. So a good democratic government will ensure the goodness of the masses, the well-being of the people. That's what democracy is all about. How can it be in a democratic government, then people are suffering more than they have ever suffered?
The effect is not being felt.
My dear, it is very terrible. It's not good at all. We should change our narrative. We should change the system and let this democratic dividends be enjoyed by the masses.
There's this other one that is currently on the lips of Nigeria. You remember what happened during June 12th, where our president mistakenly fell down. It's still on the headline till today. They say the presidency slips off. The presidency waves Tinubu slips as a human. Now, and so some Nigerians are saying it's because he's too old. That's why he actually fell. What's your take on that? As an elder statesman, now what's your take?
Yes, that falling, it may be from two angles. Either angle of being old, or in the aspect of the anger of the people.
Okay.
To be honest with you, many people are not happy about this government, especially at the federal level. But we here in the state, Universal State, as a matter of fact, the governor here seems for is doing well. So what am I saying? The general masses in the federation are complaining that the APC government is not doing well.
Obviously.
So therefore, I don't know, old age may be one part.
And he made a joke about it as I yesterday, that he was in quotes doing a swagger, like he was actually displaying a typical Yoruba boy's attitude, that it wasn't actually a fall.
No, it was a fall. Okay. Everybody saw it. Okay. But maybe he want to remove the shame or whatever. Yeah. So the thing is that the masses too, some of them, I don't know, some were even making jest of him. And now it's like some people may have even felt happy about that falling. So my advice to him is that let him sit down and plan the economy well, so the naira now can appreciate. Right now the naira has no value again, and that's why things are so expensive. Let him find a way and revive the refineries. If the refineries are revived, the economy will improve. Things will no longer be expensive, and people can live a happy life. And the masses will be praying for his good health and make him live longer and healthier. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here. I would like your thoughts on the Punch newspaper first that says buyers in last-minute rush for Salah Rams lament extortion costs. You know, Monday, Tuesday will be public holiday as presumed. Our Muslim brothers will be celebrating, and now most of them are rushing for their Salah Rams as usual, and they are saying it is at a high cost compared to what they used to buy other years. What's your take on that?
You know, the situation of things in the country is a bit
It's quite alarming.
alarming, and you know, whatever the case is, Nigerians are used to adjusting.
Okay.
If you're unable to get the full ram, at least you can get the leg
Okay.
or the head or any part of the ram,
That can satisfy for
and
the moment.
that can solve the immediate celebration of the Salah. So I know things are expensive in the market, but anyway, the celebration will definitely take
Okay, now,
place.
you just spoke about Nigerians being able to adjust to the situation. Don't you think it is our ability to adjust that has kept us where we are now? That's why our government are actually playing volleyball with us.
It's true, you know, because we are used to adapting. In fact, Nigeria is one of the best countries in the whole world
I can attest to
that can adapt to any situation. If you can survive in Nigeria, there's no country of the world that you cannot survive.
Okay, I agree. Surely agree. Okay, I also like your thought on still about Nigerians. It says suspected self-kidnapper, 8 others arrested in Kaduna, in Delta, I mean to say. Now, Nigerians are resorting to kidnapping themselves and asking for ransom. Are we actually blaming the government in this aspect now, or we're blaming ourselves?
You know, the citizenry itself has an issue. I think the National Orientation Agency is not doing much in terms of reorientating the mindset of the people. And the government is trying on its part to have established the National Orientation Agency and also reintroducing compulsory secondary school civic education. So I think the future children of Nigeria will be better off than the present Nigerians. How can it is awful for one to kidnap another for ransom, irrespective of the economic situation of the country. Is condemnable.
So for the past 25 years, just like what we have celebrated in our democracy, did you think the democratic role has been played out by Nigerians?
You know, democracy is a gradual process. At least we are getting close to better democracy. Like if you look at our previous elections, this time the election is getting better. And the will of the people is actually playing in some part. And I think our judiciary too should readjust to the changes and not play the usual way to the gallery of receiving. One can always have judgments from any court if you have the money. And I think the judiciary there should be judicial sanity in the system. That is what I think.
So are you saying in essence that you just spoke about our previous election, and we could still remember that our government brought up issues like beavers, but at the end of the day Nigerians were not able to use the beavers. Secondly, they also promised us that the elections will be displayed everywhere, but at the end of the day we still didn't hear any results. And I can bet you now 80% of Nigerian youth in quote are not ready to indulge in politics. I can attest to the fact that me standing here now having to engage Nigerian youth, they say no, they don't want to involve in politics because the last elections involved more of 95% of Nigerian youth, but the result wasn't productive. Don't you think that the government still has a lot to do?
I think it's the problem is the youth.
Okay.
The youth do not really know what they want. If you look at previous administrations, those people who were in power were younger, they were less than 30 years. The likes of Obasanjo, the First Republic, all the First Republic presidents were young. In fact, Tafawa Balewa was about his early 30s when he became the head of state of Nigeria. And this young generation, I don't know if they really know what they want. If someone should bring dollars and you refuse to receive the dollars, I think you've solved your problem. So, irrespective of the challenges, financial challenges people are going through, do not sell your conscience during elections. And with what happened in this past election, I think the young people, they've learned that they need to monitor their vote. From the unit, they should announce results from units. And I think since everybody is yearning towards the use of the beavers and the central reporting system, I think by next election, I think INEC should live to their expectation.
Of late, we have not actually believed in INEC. All right, now
we have to believe in INEC. We have to believe in INEC.
All right, sir. Now you just spoke about age. Sorry, I will still have to drag this point now. You just spoke about age. Our president did well during his time as a young man in Lagos State. Do you think it is his age that's actually affecting his current ruling now? Because it's actually showing a level of ineffectiveness, just like Nigerians will keep saying. Do you think it is his age that's affecting it?
I think age is also a factor. If you look at if someone is younger, you can move around and monitor every project you award. But if you are old, you cannot move around. You only live by hearing from those you delegated authority to. What if they don't execute it and they come to give you a false report? You will accept that report.
So, in essence, you're saying it is cabals that are like his round table that should be addressed, not the person.
Yes. I think we need a younger president.
Okay. In summary, we need a younger president.
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, we've come to the end of our newspaper review here on TAF TV. You have been opportune to hear what Nigerians got to say in regards to the headlines that are making rounds on our newspapers. All right, most persons are able to pour out their hearts, and you also can be part of this show. You can also show your reactions on our comment sections. And if you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe so that you keep updated. This time we bring you videos just like what we have shared with you today. My name is Eyo Okeme, and this has been the newspaper review here on TAF TV. Do well to have a lovely weekend.